Okay, so yan. So again, welcome to MTY1103 Analytical Chemistry. This is the next subject after your inorganic and organic chemistry, no? Okay. Um, let's have an overview on ano yung itsura ng Anachem, ano yung topics that we should expect, no, to be dealt with this subject, no? So, overview, analytical chemistry is just an extension of inorganic chemistry. No. So pag sinabi natin extension of inorganic chemistry, we will still be using the foundations of inorganic chemistry such as yung chemical reactions, stoichiometry, gas laws, ano pa ba mga inorg these topics natin, yung atoms, molecules, ions, no. So basically, uh, use we will combine all those ideas sa inorganic chemistry para mag-level up yung understanding natin sa chem, no? Mag-level up yung understanding natin sa science, okay? So parang this is an upgraded version of inorganic chemistry, okay? So upgraded meaning mas maraming ganap and also medyo tricky. Ayoko sabihin yung mahirap kasi pag sinabi yung mahirap, nalulungkot na yung ibang tao kaya tricky lang na. So, mas maraming ganap dito sa subject na to and tricky siya. Pero, ang gusto ko lang ipaalala sa inyo, kayang-kaya ito ipasa. Okay? So anyway, so having said that, we will cover the fundamentals of the qualitative and the quantitative chemical analysis, no? So kaya nga analytical chemistry yan, analyze, no? So we will do chemical analysis. Okay? So dalawa yung uri ng chemical analysis na ginagawa natin sa analytical chemistry. We can have qualitative and quantitative analysis, no? So let's differentiate the two. Pag sinabi nating qualitative analysis, we are pertaining to the behavior of our substances, the behavior of matter. For example, if you could still recall the solubility rules, di ba? Pag pinaghalo mo yung ito, pati ito, pag pinaghalo mo yon, it will form precipitate. Yun yung qualitative analysis, no? Kasi later on sa Anachem, may mga substances na paghahaluin, tas may mabubuo. Okay? So, yung pag-form ng precipitate, that is a qualitative analysis, no? You can identify the substances involved basta alam mo yung mga ganong concept sa inorganic chemical reaction, solubility rules, yun, malaking tulong yan sa qualitative analysis. Okay? So, hindi lang yun, no? Kung naalala nyo, sa inorganic chem natin last sem, may video. Ayun, sa mga students ko dati, di ko alam kung naalala nyo pa. May video dun na pinakita ako na yung nag-iiba-iba ng kulay yung apoy. Okay? So, because elements um, have their own colors, no? Kunwari, yung sodium, pag niliyaban mo yan, pag inapuyan mo yan, magiging yellow yan. Yellow yung flame. Pag, for example, lithium, magiging kulay red yung apoy niyan. Pag copper, kulay green. Okay? So, pag carbon, kulay orange, no? So, you can also do qualitative analysis with the colors that our atoms um, release, no? So, depende sa kulay na nire-release nila, pwede mo malaman kung anong type ng atom yon. Okay? So, basically, ang sinasabi natin with qualitative analysis is that it helps us to identify the atoms, molecules, or ions in our system. Okay? So, aalamin natin yung kanilang chemical reactivities, ano yung identity nila through qualitative analysis. No? Isang part pa lang yun ng Anachem. Okay? Isang part pa lang yun kasi may other part pa, yung quantitative analysis. Okay. So, ano yung meron sa quantitative analysis? Pag sinabi natin quantity, dami, amounts. Anong topic sa inorg ang may amount of substance? Yun yung stoichiometry. So basically, glorified inorganic chem lang to. pag sinabi kong glorified, sabihin na natin, mas pinabongga, mas pinahirap, no? Mas pinasaya. Ayan. Parang ganun lang yung ganap ng Anakem. Mas ginandahan niya yung understanding sa quality ng elements and sa ways in determining their amounts. No? Okay? So malalaman mo kung ano yung identity and yung dami. No? And because of these premises, no, ang analytical chemistry ay very helpful sa lahat ng fields ng science. Okay? Bakit? Dahil dito sa dalawang properties na to. Later on, ipapakita ko sa inyo yung relationship ng Anachem with other fields of science. No? Okay. So, yun lang yung bibigay ko na overview sa ngayon. That Anachem encompasses two fields, qualitative field and the quantitative field. Pag pinagsama mo yon, Anachem. No? Saan ginagamit yung quality and quantitative analysis? Sa lahat ng fields sa science. So basically, important ang Anachem sa medtech. Okay? Later on, discuss ko kung paano siya naging important. No? Okay. So yun lang yung gagawin natin sa Anachem. Focus tayo sa quanti and quali analysis. Other than that, i-apply natin yon sa inyong field. Okay? Excuse me. Okay. Ano pa yung gagawin natin dito sa Anachem? From the word itself, analyze. No? Hindi lang dapat magaling mag-solve. Hindi lang dapat magaling mag-memorize. We should also be able to analyze what's happening with the problem. Ano yung mga nangyayari. No? Okay. So, para malaman natin kung ano yung sagot doon sa tanong na ano yung nangyayari, we should have idea on statistics, no? Kailangan 'yon. And yung mga methods of analysis pa. No? So marami tayong aalamin dito. May proper methods of quantitation, qualitation, no? And then may statistics involved dito. So basic lang naman. Okay? So yun lang. Yun lang yung ganap niya. So medyo ngayon binibigyan ko na kayo ng insight Yung Anachem malawak, okay? Maraming concepts, maraming solving. Okay? So, yun yung gusto ko i-imagine nyo na para next meeting, mas focus na kaya na. Alam na yun ng mga bata ko dati kasi winarningan ko na sila. Maraming calculation doon, sabi ko. Marami talaga. No? So, yun. So, galingan nyo na lang po, ha? Okay. So, that's our overview sa Anachem. So, ano yung goals natin sa subject na to? Okay, so number one, of course, is to strengthen your idea on solution, stoichiometry, statistics, the qualitative and the quantitative analysis, and equilibrium reactions. Okay, so this part is just the glorified inorganic chem. Okay, kung ano yung na-discuss sa inorg, last sem, gagawin lang din natin ulit ngayon. Pero, mas marami na madidiscuss dito. Okay? So, yan yung first goal natin is to further strengthen your understanding about inorganic chemistry. And then the next one is how we will apply it. No? So, usually, sa face-to-face classes, magla-laboratory tayo. Pero this time, hindi kaya. Syempre, nasa bahay tayo. Ang gagawin na lang natin is virtual laboratory. Okay? Last semester, may mga videos kami na in-upload. For this semester, ang gagawin natin ay virtual lab talaga. Okay? So, may mga websites that offer virtual laboratory. Sabay-sabay tayo gagawa nun ng activities doon. Okay? Para ma-imagine nyo kung paano yung nangyayari sa laboratory. No? So, yun. Next one is to discuss the theories and the laws governing chemical analysis. No? So, yun nga. No? So, basically, this is just the in-org part applied sa higher level chem. No? And how we will relate those problems in answering life questions. No? Okay, so yun lang. Basically, again, inorganic chem lang to na glorified. No? So when you say glorified, mas marami lang calculation, mas marami lang concepts, no? Pero kayang-kaya nyo yan, of course, no? And I think ultimate goal naman ng pag-aaral ng science, no? Lahat naman tayo, ito yung gusto natin. We should be able to communicate kung ano yung equivalence ng understanding natin ng chem to other people. Okay? Kasi ito yung problem with scientific community now. We are not good communicators, no? We, no, we talaga. Ito yung problem kasi parang we keep on throwing jargons to people na hindi nila naintindihan, no? Tapos anong nangyayari sa media na may misinterpret yung terms, no? So magkakaroon ng misinformation, no? So by understanding analytical chemistry, mas lalo tayong magkakaroon ng understanding or ng realization kung paano ba dapat i-interpret yung numbers to words, no, sa layman, no, sa mga ordinaryong tao. Okay, kasi ang anakim, alam nyo ba yung tubig ninyo sa Maynilad kaya sa MWSS ba yun? Basta kunwari Maynilad, may anakim involved dyan. Yung tubig sa bahay, may certain level of substances na allowed. Kapag sumobra yung isa, pwede magkasakit yung mga customer. Okay, so si Anakem, inaaral niya ano yung dami ng substances na yon. Tapos kapag sumobra na, siya yung magko-communicate with people na delikado na yung tubig na iniinom niya. No? So later on, magbibigay ako ng examples about that. No? So yun lang yung objectives natin. To further strengthen in org and mag-level up ang understanding natin ng chemistry and how to communicate effectively to our peers. Okay? So this will be our reference material for this semester. Introduction to Analytical Chemistry. Excuse me. Inuubo lang ako kasi kumain ako ng fruit salad last time. Okay, so wag na kayo kakain ng fruit salad. Anyway, so ito yung ating course material, Introduction to Analytical Chemistry. According to our cluster head, okay, physical book na daw to this time. As in, libro talaga. I actually have one with me. Ito siya. So, itong textbook na to, this is around 945 ata. Excuse me. 945 ata siya sa website. Just check na lang. Hindi na tayo gagamit ng OWL V2 this semester. Bakit? Mas mahal kasi. Tsaka medyo complicated yung process. Okay? Ito pala yung left pencil ko. Okay? So yun. So physical textbook na po yung ipapadala sa inyo compared to the e-book last time. So communicate with Cengage na lang or the Tams bookstore. Yun yung nirelay sa aming info eh. Okay? So yan. For the course requirement for you to pass this subject, ito yung ating kailangan, formative and summative assessment. For the formative, Lec and Lab, parehas na 10 quizzes. Okay? Excuse me. So yung 10 quizzes na yan, that's divided into 2. 5 sa midterm, 5 sa finals. Okay? So hindi yan 10 ngayong midterm, 10 sa finals. Wag ganun. Ano na kayo, may stress na kayo, sobra nun sa akin. So 5 sa midterm yan, 5 sa final term. Okay? Nag-aaway yung pusa sa baba. Okay, so yan. So 5 midterm, 5 sa finals. So be ready. Ang ating quizzes, mostly 20 points in total yan. Okay? For the exam, the summative assessment, ito ay deptals. No? When you say deptals, uniform na to sa lahat. Okay? So dati kasi kanya-kanya, 'di ba? Ngayon ay uniform na yung assessment. Okay, para mas malaki na yung control. Yun yung mga modifications ng department for this semester. Okay? So itong exam natin is most likely 100 points as usual. I don't know if still 50 items, pero most probably 50 items, 2 points each, no? Just like last time. Okay. So yun ang course assessment, course requirements. Of course, for you to pass any assessment, get at least 50%. Okay. Kunwari, 20 points yan. Pag 10 ka na, pasado ka na. Pero of course, don't settle for less. You can go higher than 10. Okay? So, ganun. And for you to compute your grade, although discuss din natin to when we have our consultation by midterms. Okay? So, for you to compute your grade, that is just 50-50. Okay? So, for the lecture grade, 50% formative, 50% summative. That is also true for the lab grade. And your overall grade, yung lalabas sa ano nyo, sa central, 50-50 ng LEC and lab. Okay? So, kunwari, mataas kayo sa akin, mababa kayo sa LEC, maapektuhan nun yung final grade nyo. Mataas kayo sa lab, sa LEC, mababa kayo sa akin, maapektuhan nun yung final grade nyo. Okay? So, just be careful. Look for the balance lang. Okay? So, I have students before na okay sa LEC, sa lab, hindi. Meron naman sa LEC, hindi. Sa lab, okay. So, advice lang. Ito yung target mo. Pag nakuha mo yan, pasado ka. Okay? So, kayo na bahala dyan. Alam nyo na yung paano mag-balance. Okay? So, next one, we have the student-centered learning. Although ako, I don't do this. Hindi ko siya ginagawa masyado talaga. Bakit? Kasi, shifting the focuses of instruction from teacher to student is quite hard. Lalo na ngayong online class, no? So, naunawaan ko yung hirap ng pag-unawa ng lessons online. No? Kasi minsan napuputol-putol tayo because of the internet connections. Worst case possible, may mga naapektuhan ng mga calamities. No? So, sana okay na sila this sem. No? Pero anyway, so, ganito dapat. No? Pero, for our SEM, medyo i-spoon feed ko muna kayo, no? Kasi, although not so spoon feed, college na tayo, pero hindi naman yung super okay na bahala dyan. Basahin nyo na lang yan, ganun. Hindi ko gagawin yan, no? So, I will still teach you the usual syllabus and the techniques, no? So, mahilig tayo sa shortcuts, no? So, yan. Maraming pwedeng i-shortcut sa Anachem. So, I will give you my shortcuts, no? Para hindi na kayo ma-stress sa live. Okay? So, this will be our course outline. Ito yung schedule ng gagawin natin until the finals. Okay? So, since laboratory tayo, this week will just be an orientation week. Okay? And chapter 0. No? Chapter 0 is just included sa orientation naman. Okay? Then, next week, mag-start tayo with solutions. Ano yung solutions? Yung mga molarity. No? Molarity, percent volume, percent mass, etc. etc. Didiscuss natin yan dyan. Followed by statistics. Don't stop dito, don't worry. Hindi siya yung may mga ano pa. Hindi siya yung may mga tips. Ngayon, ano lang to, mga central tendencies, mga mean median mode, and test for outliers. Next chapter will be gravimetric analysis and combustion analysis. Yan, solving na yan. Actually, starting chapter 1, solving na yan. No? Acid-base equilibrium, solubility equilibrium. Yan. Then after that, after the 4 chapters, we will have our midterm examination. Kailan tong midterm? That's around March 15. Kalagitnaan ng March. Okay? Then, for the final part, we will have the chapter 5, acid-base titration. Excuse me. Asensya na, inuubo talaga. Followed by electrochemistry, my favorite. No? Favorite ko siya kasi ito yung dahilan ba tayo may kuryente. Okay? Then followed by spectrophotometry and chromatography. Okay? So, lahat ng yan, i-discuss natin. We have plenty of time. No? Mapansin nyo, 2 weeks kada chapter halos. No? Ito 1 week lang, ito 1 week. Pero after that, ito 3 weeks, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So we have plenty of time to discuss the subject matter. Okay? So hopefully that time is actually enough, no? Para maunawaan natin yung anachem. Okay? So yan. And this is the tentative schedule of assessments. There will be no assessments for the next 2 weeks. We'll start having quizzes by week 3, no? Which is around teka lang. Around February na. Yes. Okay, so dun pa lang tayo mag-start magkaroon ng quizzes. Itong tal, wala naman tal sa inyo eh. So dito lang tayo, AOL and MOL. Okay, classroom policy. Just be honest lang, no? Okay na yung pasado, tapos nag-effort kayo sa pasado na kumopya lang, no? So just be honest with yourselves, no? Kasi in the end, you will have your board exam, no? Ay, share ko lang, no? Although medyo personal to. During college, no, may classmate ako na kasabayan ko rin, no? Para, kasi sa group of friends namin na yon, puro kami laude, no? Nung college kami. So, yung friend ko na yon, laude siya. Okay? So, laude din siya. Kaso, ito yung problem lang sa kanya. Always, nafe-feel ko, nandadaya sila. Although, kina-call out ko, syempre, mabuti tayong tao, no? Ano tayo, kapag mali, call out nyo. So, yun, kina-call out namin, no? Tama na yan, ganito, ganyan, blah, blah, blah. Pero, okay, tapos yung college, laude siya. Para ba, sabay-sabay kami. Ito nga lang yung problem. Pagdating ng board exam, wala kang makokopyahan doon. Ngayon, bagsak siya. No? So, I don't want that to happen to you. Okay? Yes, in just few years, you will have your board exam. Okay? Kapag kayo nasanay kayo sa cheating, magiging sistema nyo yan. And pag naging sistema nyo yan, wala na. Okay? So, mahirap na i-redeem sarili nyo. May record na kayo sa PRC na ganito. Worst is hindi pa kayo makapag-exam. Nangyari yan sa engineering dati. No? Yung calculator na may cellphone, that's around 2010-ish. No? Ayun, pag may ganun, pag nag-cheat ka doon, hindi ka na pwede mag-take ng exam. Sayang yung 4 years, 5 years na college life mo. So, please don't let that happen to you. For now, make your academic integrity the number one priority paratin. So, maging honest lang kayo sa sarili nyo. Wag na wag matetempt. Okay? So, hayaan mo na yung iba matempt. Ikaw, just do your work. Okay? So, we have no ways naman to detect kung meron ganong nangyayari. I don't know if last sem ganon yung mga bata, pero that's beyond our scope. No? Yung gusto ko na lang i-remind sa inyo is just be honest with yourself. Kasi lahat ng gawin natin may consequences sa dulo. Especially sa board exam. So be careful. No? So yun lang, be professional, and kapag hindi nyo alam yung sagot or marami kayong questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Mag-email kayo ng madaling araw, most likely baka mag-reply ako. No? Nanonood lang ako ng Netflix nun pag ganun. Okay, lahat naman tayo puyat parate. No? So, basta pag may question kayo, just let me know. No? Mabilis naman ako mag-reply. Basta email. Okay? Sa Facebook, di ko masyado nakikita. Okay? So, yun. What else? You have to acquire your course materials. Punta tayo dito sa Canvas. Tignan ko yung names niya. Ayan, dami akong students dito dati. So, hello po. Alam ko, nag-enlist talaga yung iba sa akin talaga daw na. Okay, so yan. Punta tayo dito. So, pupunta nyo ng Canvas, just go to the homepage or the modules. Kung hindi nakikita, pag nasa cellphone kayo, punta kayo sa modules. Okay? Pero pag nasa laptop, kahit home lang. Okay? Dito sa Canvas, andito na po lahat ng lessons na i-discuss from today until the end of the semester. Okay, so andyan na lahat. Yung chapter 0 to 4, Yan yung i-discuss natin for the midterm. 5 to 8, yan for the finals. No? So, kunwari, yan, check natin. No? Click nyo lang yan, download your PDF. No? Pero kung gusto nyo yung mabilisan, punta lang kayo ng files. Itong lessons, click nyo yung 3 dots sa dulo. Then download. Naka-zip file na yan. Also, kunwari may textbook kayo, tas mas lalo kayo na-confuse sa textbook, nag-upload din ako ng 2 pang textbook. Okay. Itong 2 textbook na to, I highly recommend this kasi ito yung mga pinagdadasalan ko dati no, nung mag-e-exam ako sa board sa Chem. Okay. So itong 2 to, these 2 books are very, very very good reference material. So in-upload ko siya dito. Just download them. Okay lang yun. Okay. So yan. Itong quantitative chemical analysis, this is Anachem, pero hindi siya yung sa required textbook natin. Okay? Pero maganda rin yung discussion dito. I prefer this kasi. Although you can still have your textbook. Malay nyo, andun yung mga quizzes. No? Malay nyo. Kaya bilhin, kayo na lang bahala. No? Tapos itong Chemistry 12 edition ni Chang and Goldsby, you can use this as a reviewer for your inorganic chem. Alam ko nakalimutan nyo na yung in-org siguro, no? Not all, pero mostly. Kasi ang daming nangyari during the Christmas season, no? Daming nawala, no? Daming nangyari, pero yun. Life goes on. So yan. Just download these 2 textbooks. I highly recommend you to have chem books, no? Kasi later on, pagdating nyo sa higher subjects nyo sa medtech, baka need nyo mag-refresh ng chem. So, yan. Good reference materials yan. Okay. So, yun lang. Excuse me. And next policy will be this one, organize your schedules. Binigay ko na sa orientation PowerPoint yung schedule nyo. So, you know kung kailan magkakaroon ng assessment, although that will be announced. No? So, kayo na bahala mag-organize. No? Ito lang suggestion ko. Since yung Anachem, hindi siya calculation intensive talaga siya. No? So, ngayon pala sinasabi ko maraming susolve. No? So, be ready. Give more time sa calculations if kayo ay doon nahihirapan. No? Okay, so some students have struggles kasi with solving. Okay sila sa concept, sa solving, hindi. Pero ang Anachem, that's concept and solving. And no, magkasama talaga yung dalawang yan. Mostly solving pa nga minsan, no. So yan, you have to find the balance, no. Ako nung college ako, what I do is ganito. Every morning, may binili akong app nun eh. Nung di ko maalala. May binili akong app sa phone ko na yung brain teaser. Parang every morning, binubuksan ko yon, sasagot-sagot ako ng questions, algebra mostly. No, pagkagising mo, solve for x. Hala. Tapos may alarm clock pa ako dati na hindi siya mamamatay hanggat di mo nasusolve yung problem. No choice, no. Effective yun, no. I-trickle nyo lang yung brain nyo para gumana agad, no. Yun. Kasi solving to wala tayong magagawa. That's Anachem. So, just be ready. Okay, so if you lag behind sa calculation, give more time for practice. Yung algebra, ma-apply nyo yan sa solving dito. Okay, so yun lang. And that's it. Welcome to Analytical Chemistry. And yun. Later on, mag-continue tayo ng discussion about Anachem. No? Pero anyway, do you have any questions with the orientation? Hindi pa ako nagpapakilala sa iba. Wait lang. Excuse me. Pakilala muna ako para sa iba. Especially mga di ko students dati. Yun. So, sino po ako? Ako po ang teacher niya. Yan. So, I'm Sir Jim R. Cruz. So, Sir Gym na lang. Pwede rin gym, kayo bahala. Kung magka-age lang tayo, di gym. Hindi naman nagmamatter sa akin. So, I'm Sir Jim. Ako yung instructor niyo for Analytical Chemistry. Kailan ako graduate? 2018. Undergraduate to. Na? So, college, 2018 ako graduate. Then, I worked. Na? After the board exam, around November 2018, nag-work na rin ako. Na? So, dalawang university pinagtuturuan ko. No? So, una, sa PUP ako nagtuturo. Then, ngayon, sa FEU. Bakit? May aircon. Joke lang. Okay. So, yun. So, sa PUP, ano pa yung mga tinuturuan ko? Nagtuturo ako ng senior high school, engineering, mga Chem 4Eng nila, food technology. Okay. Sa FEU, tinuturuan ko dito ay, syempre, medtech, bio, eduk, and psych. Excuse me. So, yun yung mga naturuan ko. So, I started sa FEU noong 2020 lang. Right before the pandemic, no? So, yun. What else? Wait lang. Ayun. Anyway, ay. Di ko alam kung naririnig niyo. Pero sa kapitbahay. Anyway. So, yan. Anong subject tinuturo ko po? Of course, chemistry. So, I taught Gen Chem 1 and 2 sa senior high. Yun, pinapaiyak ko sila. Although masaya naman sila. Mataas naman daw ako magbigay ng grade. Although umiiyak sila dati. I love them. No, so yan, Gen Chem 1 and 2 nung senior high school. I also taught Chem 4Eng. Ito sa engineering students ko yan. Sa food tech, nagturo ako ng biochem. Okay. So, yan. May biochem kayo next sem. So, I don't know if makapagturo ako ng biochem sa inyo or not. No. Then, nagturo ako ng org-chem, organic, inorganic then, pati yung inorg-org. So, yan. So, yan, basically, yung buhay ko umiikot lang sa chem. No? So, paulit-ulit lang. No? Kaya, yun. Yun lang. So, yun lang naman info ko na basic info na pwede nyo malaman. If you want more, just go sa LinkedIn ko. Okay? O kaya, just ask your classmates na naging students ko rin. No? Okay. So, mababait naman yung mga yan. No? So, yun. Yun lang. Do you have any questions po regarding textbook or the schedule outline? Wala naman. Kumusta naman kayo dyan? No? Yung mga dati kong bata. Ano, buhay pa. Saya-saya ng no, Christmas break nyo. Teka lang excuse me. So anyway, so without question, let's proceed with the overview. So, onting slides lang naman di-discuss ko. More on the appreciation of Anachem lang para next meeting, motivated na tayo. Okay. So, para next meeting, motivated na tayo sa gagawin natin. No? So, yan. So, let's have motivation. Let's understand kung ano yung Anachem and saan siya ginagamit. No? So, kung alam natin kung saan siya gagamitin, yun, mas ma-appreciate natin to. Kasi kapag hindi nyo siya na-appreciate, may hirapan kayo, promise. No? Kaya ngayon pa lang, i-appreciate na natin. Okay, para hindi na kayo mahirapan. Okay, so let's talk about analytical chemistry. What is analytical chemistry? From the word itself, analytic, analyze. Okay, so this is a chemistry that analyzes, no? Analyzes what? Ano ba yung chemistry? Study of matter. So basically, analytical chemistry analyzes matter. Okay? So, since it analyzes matter, lahat ng fields ng science will depend on anachem. No? Bakit? Kasi 'di ba sa science ang ina-understand naman natin ay matter. So, ibig sabihin, kung gusto mo i-analyze yung matter, you have to understand first analytical chemistry. Okay? So, yun yung pinaka-core concept. Sinabing anachem, analyzation about matter. So, lahat yan sa paligid mo, you will understand them basta alam mo yung anachem. Okay? So, isang ginagamit yung anachem. Ano yung branches ng anachem, rather? Pag sinabi natin branches, yung mga subtopics niya. So, in analyzing matter, we have two methods. Okay? So, uh, two branches, let's say. So, una is the qualitative analysis. The next one is the quantitative analysis. I told you kanina, when we say qualitative, we are pertaining to qualities. Ano ba yung mga qualities ng matter? Ano siya? Matangkad, no? Hindi naman ganun, no? So, hindi. Pag sinabi natin qualities ng matter, we may be pertaining to the identity of the matter. Anong type ng ion yan? Anong type ng atom yan? Yun, malalaman natin sa anachem yan. So, we are focused on the qualities, no? The identity or the reactivities of our matter. Identity or reactivities. Kasi 'di ba, depending on the type of the ions that you can have different reactions. Pwedeng acid-base reaction, pwedeng redox reaction, pwedeng combustion reaction, etc., etc. Okay, so yun. As long as you know what type of reaction you have, you know how to qualitize. May ganun ba ang word? Alam mo na kung paano mag-qualitative analysis ng matter, no? Okay, so yan. So yan, identity and reactivities na. Excuse me. Next one, quantitative analysis. Pag sinabi natin quantitative analysis, quantity. Ano papasok sa isip natin pag quantity? Amount of substances. So, saan to focus? So, this one is focused on stoic. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin quantitative analysis, we are focused on the amounts of matter. The relationship of physical properties with the amount of matter. For example, mass. Physical property yon. Using mass, you can determine the moles of the substance, the volume of a substance. Pwede mo i-convert sa moles ng substance. Depending on the voltage, no? Electrical voltage, you can determine kung present ba yung ions or not, no? Okay? So, yun yung ito yung overview ng anachem. Dalawang uri ng study yan. You have to know what the qualities of your substances are and how will you quantify them. Tandem yan. Alam mo dapat kung ano siya and alam mo how to quantify them. Okay? So that means, bigyan ko na kayo ng hint, kailangan alam nyo yung solubility rules, types of chemical reaction, that will give you an idea sa qualitative analysis. Sa quantitative analysis naman, you have to understand, you have to recall stoichiometry, mass-mole relationship from substance A to substance B, conversion, etc., etc. So, kailangan nyo ma-recall yan. And don't worry, kasi next week, i-recall natin lahat yan. Okay? So, yun. What else? The role of analytical chemistry. So, sabi ko sa inyo kanina, lahat ng field ay dependent sa anachem. Kaya hindi lang kaming mga chemist yung gumagamit ng anachem. Even kayo, medical technologists, gumagamit kayo ng anachem. Sino pa ba? Ito, ayan. Sa slide na to makikita natin how all other sciences are related to anachem. Tingin tayo dito. Excuse me. Tignan natin. Ito may nakikita ako. Parang weird dyan. Oh. Bakit may physics na related sa anachem? Isip tayo, ano yung relationship na ng dalawa? Sige. Sabi natin, anachem, pwede siya mag-qualify. Pwede rin siya mag-quantify. Okay? So, kunwari, kung wala kayong maisip, ako nung nagsasabi, stars. Isipin nyo, di ba ang sun, 99% hydrogen. Tapos, 1% other atoms. Another example would be Betelgeuse, yung star sa Orion. Ay, hindi. Wala siya sa Orion's. Sa Orion's belt ba yun? Andun sa Orion's belt. Yung Betelgeuse, kulay red siya. That's a red giant that is about to explode in just few hundred years from now. No? Pag sumabog daw yun, maliwanag pag gabi. So, I'm still, di ko alam kung buhay pa tayo nun, pero maganda siya makita. No? So, saan related yung Anakim? Sa stars. Ito, di ba nagsabi ako ng percentages ng elements? This is the question. How were they able to identify what elements are there in the star and yung kanyang amount, the relative amount of that element in the star? Sige, isipin nyo. Paano siya magka-qualify and quantify ng elements sa star? Tingin nyo ba pumunta yung mga nasa scientist doon sa star? Hindi. Siyempre, mamamatay sila doon kahit gabi sila pumunta. Okay? Paano? Kasi ganito. Sa Anakim, kung makikita nyo yung overview kanina, mayroon tayong tinatawag na spectrophotometry. Spectro is a Greek word, no? Meaning light. Metry, metros, counting. Okay? So, using light, we can count the number of atoms that are there. We can also identify the types of atoms that are there. So, ibig sabihin, by just observing the light that is being emitted by the star, pwede mo malaman kung anong elements nandun and gaano sila karami. That's spectrophotometry under analytical chemistry. So, ibig sabihin, may relation talaga, no? For example, di ko alam kung naaalala nyo paano, pero last semester, we have a video on flame test. Ang topic natin doon ay atoms, molecules, ions eh. Di ba sabi natin na kapag yung element nainitan, it will release colors, di ba? Pwedeng color red kapag yan ay may lithium, kulay orange kapag yan ay may carbon, dilaw kapag sodium, lilac pag potassium. No? So depending on the color that is emitted by a substance, by a glowing substance, you can determine kung anong element yung nandun. Excuse me. Paano yung quantity? Yung dami. The more bright yung color na isa, that means the more yung element that is represented by that color. For example, tingin kayo sa kandila. 'Di ba kulay orange karamihan ng part ng apoy? Bakit? Kasi maraming carbon atoms na nasusunog doon. Yung kulay itim sa wick, no? Sa mitya ba tawag doon? Hindi ko alam, basta wick. Yung sa pinakataas, yung tela. Yung itim doon, carbon yun. Kapag nasunog yun, magiging orange yun. Okay? So that's spectrophotometry. Spectro lang muna, wala pang photometry kasi hindi tayo nagka-count eh. So yan, depending on the colors emitted by the elements, you can determine gaano sila karami and ano sila. Okay? So yun, nagagamit siya sa physics. Excuse me. Punta tayo sa engineering. Ito. Ako kasi may ligaw manood ng practical engineering sa YouTube. Dinidiscuss doon. Gugulat ako. May alam sila sa chemistry. Siyempre, dapat lang. Okay? Kasi central science yung chem. So, dapat alam nila yung chem. Ito sabi, depending on the composition, elemental composition of the bars, steel bar, yung mga bakal sa construction, pwede siyang matibay, pwedeng marupok. No? So, ginagawa ng engineers is that they optimize the amounts of carbon, aluminum, iron, mixed in the metal para ma-optimize yung katibayan ng material. Kasi kapag too much carbon daw, masisira yung bakal. Pag wala naman daw carbon, masyado siyang matigas. Okay? So, ginagawa ng engineers doon, they try to mix different elements to make structurally sound materials, no? Para maging possible yung construction ng mga big buildings, no? Mga disaster resilient buildings, no? So yun, so ginagamitan nila ng Anachem yon to determine how much of this element is there, no? Kung masyadong marami, di babawasan nila. I-analyze uli nila until they get the right mixture. Okay? So doon pumapasok yung Anachem sa engineering. Just one example, no? Punta tayo dito sa social sciences, forensics. Ito, yung forensics na to, ito yung reason ba't na-appreciate ko yung Anachem. Kasi there was a time, nung college ako, mayroong isang forensic chemist na pumunta sa school namin. Nag-discuss siya how important chem is, how important Anachem is to your life. Isa siyang forensic chemist. She works at PNP Crime Lab sa Valenzuela. No, gulat ako, kala ko sinusundo na ako ng Valenzuela Police noon kasi taga Valenzuela din ako. Kita ko sa baba, Valenzuela Police. Yung pala, siya pala yung magsa-seminar noon. Nakakatawa lang. Ito yung share niya sa amin. Sabi niya sa amin, ang first activity, first task na binigay daw sa kanya nung siya ay nag-start ng forensics ay ganito. May bangkay na nilagay sa harap niya. Tapos ang tanong sa kanya, alamin mo, paano siya namatay, kailan siya namatay. Okay? So, paano nga ba? Yun yung question. Paano nga ba? Sino yung sasagot nun? Anachem. Anachem can tell you kailan siya namatay. Actually, calculus, no? And, paano siya namatay? Yun yung Anachem. Okay? So, for you to determine kailan niya namatay, you can use the Newton's law of cooling. No? That is the integral of dA or something. Basta, nakalimutan ko na yun. Pero favorite ko yun eh. Yung Newton's law of cooling that can tell you kung kailan namatay yung tao by just comparing the temperature of the person with the ambient temperature. Kunwari, the normal temperature. Kunwari, 36.5 degrees yung normal temperature. Tapos yung bangkay, nakita, 20 degrees Celsius na lang. So that means matagal-tagal na yung patay. No? So using calculus, pwede mo makuha yung time of death. So calculus yon. Ang question na sumunod doon ay, paano siya namatay? Yun yung, doon pumasok yung pagiging chemist niya. Pagiging forensic chemist niya. Ganito ginawa niya. Wait lang. So, doon pumasok pagiging forensic chemist niya. Okay? So, sabi niya, binuksan niya daw yung katawan ng bangkay. So, yun pa letter Y. Okay? Tapos, kinuha niya yung lamang loob, stomach, liver, kidneys. Di ba yun naman yung mga kinukuha para malaman kung paano namatay ang tao. Tapos, blender niya yun. Para siyang gross pakinggan. Okay, parang ang gross pakinggan. Pero ganun talaga yung pag sa crime lab ka daw. Magbe-blender ka ng atay, kukunin mo doon yung substances na nandun, and ito yung nakita niya. She found out that there are traces of cyanide sa liver. Excuse me. Ang cyanide ay nakikita dati sa silver cleaner. Kasi dati, excuse me, kati talaga ng lalamunan ko. Wag na kayo fruit salad ha. Baka magaya kayo sa akin. Dati kasi, uso yung balita ng cyanide poisoning. Around 2010. Okay? Maraming ganong balita sa TV. Mga ganong panahon siya nagtrabaho. So, cyanide poisoning nga nangyari. Bakit? Kasi, ang silver cleaner, no, yung panlinis ng silver, makikita niyo yung sa Quiapo, mga naglilinis ng silver, may cyanide yon. Okay? So, yung cyanide that reacts with silver para maging shiny siya. Okay? Kasi anong nangyari? Yung taong yun pala, uminom siya nun, tapos, dead siya. Kasi, delikado yon. No? So, yun, ang ginawa niya, from yung atay, blender niya, kinuha niya lang yung substances, yung katas ng, tama ba siyang tawagin na extract ng atay, no? So, yun. Kinuha niya yung extract, inanalyze niya yung substances na nandun, then yun, nakita niya yung cyanide, no? So, with the proper tools given by Anachem, nalaman niya na namatay yung tao because of cyanide poisoning, no? So, ganun ka-important yung Anachem sa forensics din. Okay? So, pwede mo malaman bakit siya namatay. Okay? So, medyo marami na application yung chem, no? Other than usual chem applications, pwede siya gamitin sa STAR, pwede siya gamitin sa materials, pwede siya gamitin sa mga crime scenes, no? At pwede rin siya gamitin sa geology. Paano? Alam niyo yung carbon dating, no? So carbon dating is used to determine the time kung kailan nag-exist or kung kailan siya last na nag-exist yung fossil. For example, may dinosaur nakita sa ilalim ng lupa. Anong gagawin nila? Carbon dating. Excuse me. So, alamin mo kung gaano karaming carbon-14 ang nasa paligid. You will compare that with the carbon-14 that is in the fossilized material sa artifact. Pag pinag-compare mo yon, you can do some calculus. Pwede mo malaman kung 1 billion years ago na ba siya? 500,000 years ago. So, yun. So, ganun lang. So, Anakim din yung sumasagot doon. As long as you compare the amounts of two substances, pwede mo malaman kung gaano na katagal yung substance na yun. Another motivation sa Anakim, bakit siya important? Sa environment, especially, let's say, meteorology. May Anakim doon, sir. Meron. Ang meteorology, that's a field understanding the atmosphere, di ba? Nag-aaral sila ng atmosphere. Di lang typhoon, even the atmospheric phenomena, no? For example, yung ozone hole. Okay? So, paano nila nalaman na butas yung ozone layer? Anong sagot? Anakem. Okay? So, ang Anakem, anong ginawa niyang role? Dinetermine niya yung dami ng ozone molecules that are floating around the earth, no? Yung nasa atmosphere, around stratosphere, dinetermine niya yung mga ozone molecules doon. Nag-quantify siya, okay? So by quantifying the amount of ozone and then by mapping it using computer graphics, nakita nila that there is a big ozone hole at the Antarctic, no? And then that called for the phasing out of CFCs, the chlorofluorocarbons, no? So yun. So mapapansin nyo, Anachem is not just limited to chemistry, to health sciences. It is related to every field of sciences in reality, no? So whether that's physics, engineering, social sciences, geology, environmental science, lahat yan related sa Anakim. Sa medtech, saan siya related? Okay, so mag-share din ako. So, sa medtech, ang isa sa mga ginagawa, common gawin ay urinalysis. Okay? Yung ginagawa sa urinalysis, you will get some urine sample from a patient, then gumagamit kayo ng spectrophotometry. Nakita ko lang to sa YouTube eh. So, yung ihe sa test tube, lalagyan niya lang ng strip, bababad niya yung strip, then it will show different colors. Okay? Using a photometer, a type of spectrophotometer, spectro meaning light. So, depending sa intensity ng color na lumabas sa strip, pwede nyo malaman yung creatinine levels, yung albumin, ano pa ba yung mga nandun sa blood, urinalysis. Nawawala kasi yung aking result eh. Basta makikita mo dun, creatinine, urea, yung kung may blood, malalaman mo rin doon. So using Anakem, mas mapapadali buhay nyo sa pag-analyze ng ganong sample. No? Whether that's urine, whether that's blood. No? Okay, kunwari naman, drug testing. Anong ginagamit nyo sa drug testing? Chromatography. Chromatography. Yung molecules ng drugs, pwede mo malaman using Anakem. So yung blood sample you will treat it with some chemicals, papadaanin mo siya sa gas chromatography. Then pag may nakita kayong peak, may signal, ibig sabihin may drugs yung tao. So ganun. So Anachem is important to you guys, no? So I hope na with these examples I gave you, mas ma-appreciate nyo siya that Anachem is not just a hard subject. It is hard and useful. Okay? Andun pa rin yung hard. Pero, makitignan nyo yung useful. Kasi, without Anachem, paano kayo mag-analyze ng samples, no? So, useful ang Anachem. So, I hope yun yung maging motivation ninyo when you study Anachem in the future, no? When I say in the future, starting now until the end of SEM, no? So, sana ma-motivate kayo na mukhang mahirap siya, yes. Pero, important siya sa field ko because it makes my life easier, no? So, mas madali na kayo mag-analyze once you are registered medical technologist, no? So, yun lang. Malapit na ako matapos sa first part ng orientation. Sa Thursday na lang yung iba. Okay? So, paano ba tayo nag-analyze sa Anachem? So, when we analyze or we do quantitative analytical studies sa Anachem, we can measure the quantities of substance by direct or indirect measurements. Excuse me. So, paano po yung direct measurement? Pag sinabi natin direct measurements, you are directly determining the mass or the volume of your substance. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kunwari, may bloke ako ng carbon. Pag tinimbang ko yung bloke ng carbon, ay, excuse me, alam ko na kung gaano karaming carbon yung nandun. Okay? You just use the carbon smaller mass to get the moles of the carbon. And then, convert mo yung moles to number of atoms. Yun. Pwede mo manasabi, oh, ganito po karaming atoms dyan. Ganito po karaming number of moles ng carbon dyan. Okay, so that's direct measurement. Direct measurement. Okay, so direct method. So you get the idea on the number of the elements or the substances that are there by just obtaining its mass or volume. Excuse me. The next one is the indirect method. No? So pag sinabi nating indirect method, you are doing proportions. Okay? So for example, sabi ko kanina sa star, kapag bright ang orange, ibig sabihin maraming carbon. Kapag hindi siya orange masyado, wala masyadong carbon doon. Okay? So depending on the intensity of the light, pwede ring intensity ng charges or ng mass or volume, you can indirectly measure the chemical quantity. Okay? So, kunwari, masyadong intense yung kulay green o maraming chlorophyll yan. Pag hindi siya intense, ibig sabihin, konti lang yung chlorophyll. Okay? Paano yung electrical charge? Alam niyo yung glucose meters? Meron ako nun, pero hindi ako diabetic. Wala lang. Bakit nga bala ako bumili nun? Hindi ko maalala. Anyway, so may glucose meter ako dito. So, kapag maraming glucose, mas mataas yung voltage na nababasa niya. So, lalabas doon yung corresponding glucose level mo. Kapag mababa yung glucose, mas mababa yung voltage na lalabas. Ibig sabihin nun, onti lang yung glucose sa body mo. Okay, so ganun lang. Excuse me. So, ganun lang po. No? So, you can measure the quantity of your substances directly or indirectly. Pag sinabing direct, mass or volume, yun na yun. Element na agad or substance. Yung quantity niya, yung makikita nyo. Pero kapag sinabing indirect, you have to do proportions. Pwede kayo mag-stoichiometry, no? Pwede kayo mag-stoichiometry, pwedeng depending on the intensity of light, malaman nyo yung amount ng substance or depending on the voltages, such as sa glucose meter, no? Kapag mataas yung voltage na natatransmit, ibig sabihin maraming glucose. Kapag mababa, edi onte, no? So ganun lang. So yun yung mga types of measurement in quantitative analytical method. And ngayon, at ano-ano naman po yung mga methods of analysis. Okay? Kasi alam na natin kung paano kukuha ng properties. Ito yung question. Paano? Okay? So, paano tayo maggagawa ng analytical study natin? So, meron tayo 4 na general ways to do analytical chem, to do quantitative analytical measurements, no? Okay, so ano yung una? We can do gravimetric methods. Pwedeng malaman mo yung amount ng substances based on its mass. Gravity, may weight, may mass, okay? So yun. Yung weight and mass medyo ini-interchange natin siya sa chem, no? So, hindi naman siya ganun ka-big deal sa atin. Okay? So anyway, so pag sinabi natin gravimetric method, we can determine the quantity of our substances based on their mass. Yan. You just have to do stoichiometry to convert that mass into whatever na gusto nyo malaman. Okay? So, kunwari, wala na akong maisip. Ang dami ko na sinabi na example eh. Basta ganun. So, kung gusto nyo malaman yung amount ng substances based on mass, we call that gravimetric method of analysis. Another way is by volumes, no? Ito, pwede ito sa gas, pwede ito sa liquids, no? So, depending on the amount of the liquid or the gas that is produced or used by the reaction, pwede mo malaman kung gaano karami yung substances na nasa reaction mo. Ito yung magiging concept ng titration. Kung di nyo alam yung titration, okay lang. Kasi i-discuss natin yan in the following weeks. Next one, electroanalytical methods. This is a method of quantitative analysis na gumagamit ng kuryente. What are the electrical properties? Voltage, resistance, current, and electrical charge. No? An example niyan, glucose meter. Okay? Yan. So, yung mga ganong test kits, no? So, they use electroanalytical methods depending on the amount of substance. There will be certain voltage na lalabas, no? Yan. For example, pH meter. Diba yung pH meter, pag nilubog mo yan, may lalabas na value. Okay? Actually, yung value na yon, yung value ng pH, that is derived from the voltage that the solution can transmit. Okay? Kasi may mga ions dun eh. So, kapag na-transmit niya yung ganitong voltage, ibig sabihin, ganito karami yung pH. Ganito yung pH. Pwedeng 1, pwedeng 10. Okay? So, yun. Electroanalytical methods yan. And then, the last one is the spectroscopic, excuse me, spectroscopic method. Spectro. We make use of light or the electromagnetic radiation. Okay? So, yun. Pwede yun sa stars. So, sir, paano kaya sa tao yan? Alam niyo yung MRI? Magnetic Resonance Imaging. MRI. Spectroscopic analysis yan actually. Okay? Ang ginagawa sa MRI, yung atoms ng katawan, ina-align lang to a certain electromagnetic natawag doon. Electromagnetic field. Kaya nga maraming magnets doon sa MRI. Kaya bawal ka magdala ng bakal doon, di ba? Kasi mga magnet na yun, they will align your atoms. And yung alignment ng atoms na yun, that will give you a picture of your internal organs. Yun din yung ginagamit sa molecules. No? Kunwari, gusto mo malaman yung itsura ng molecule na ganito. Kunwari, glucohexokinase. No? So, gusto mo malaman yung itsura ng molecule na yan, pwede mo gamitan siya ng spectroscoping imaging. No? I-align mo lang yung molecules, malalaman mo kung ano itsura ng malalaman mo kung ano itsura ng enzyme, ng proteins. Okay? So, ganun. So, ito pa yung other methods which we will not discuss anymore kasi too complex na. Okay? So, yung iba, next meeting na lang. No? Pero, hopefully, itong first part ng discussion ko, makita nyo yung importance ng ANAChem and how, kung gaano ka-related yung field ninyo sa ANAChem. No? Kasi as long as hindi nyo siya ma-appreciate, mahirapan kayo. No? So, hopefully, Pag nakita niyo yung importance ng Anachem, that will spark yung desire niyo na matutunan siya, no? This semester will be hard, okay, to be honest, because ang daming calculations. Pero alam ko kakayanan niyo yan as long as may motivation kayo. Ano yung motivation na yun? That Anachem is very important to your field. Okay? So with that, I will end my first part of the discussion about the Anachem. Okay? So do you have any questions? Dito rin yung mga iba kong students dati. Si Emmanuel, si Cassandra ba? Student ko rin dati. Naalala ko yung apelyido eh. Basta ganun. So anyway, if you do not have any questions, no, yun lang muna yung first part ko. No? So sa ngayon, paki-digest muna yung mga pinagsasabi ko. O kung gusto niyo ng materials, dito lang yan. Ayan. So andyan yung lesson. Excuse me. Hopefully okay na ako by Thursday. Kasi yun, nakaka-bother na tong ano ko. Huwag na kayo mag-fruit salad. So yan. So dito yung lesson na dinidiscuss ko. Actually yung sa lecture to. Kasi yung sa lab mabilis lang eh. Okay, so yan. Gusto ko i-digest nyo muna kung gaano ba ka-important yung Anachem sa inyong field and ano yung mga pwede ninyong gawin para mas lalo siyang maintindihan. No? Anyway, so since wala nang question, ganito na lang. Yung former students ko kasi, alam nila na every after discussion, I upload the videos on YouTube, no? May YouTube channel kasi ako, no? Andito lahat ng lessons na. Kung gusto niyo mag-review ng mag-review ng InOrChem, okay? So, sila alam na nila yung link eh. So, this is my YouTube channel, JChemie. Hindi po ako yung may-ari ng alcohol na JChemie. Sana nga ako na lang may-ari na. Anyway, so yan, this is my YouTube channel, JChemie. Andito po yung playlist ng classes ko. No? So, etong SY 2021, ito yung last sem. So, andito yung InOrg. So, pwede nyo panoorin yan. Kung gusto nyo mag-aral in advance ng Anachem, ito yung videos ko last year. Basic Analytical Chemistry. So, yan. So, punta na lang kayo dyan. Mamaya gagawa ko ng another playlist for this year's Anachem. Okay? So, ipapublic ko na po yung videos. Para, kasi yung some of my students before, they requested na magkaroon sila ng link sa videos ko kasi hindi sila makapag-enroll sa akin. So, yan. Ipapublic ko na lang sila. Okay? So, yan. Yung like video ko, meron niyang si Barney. Wala lang, sumabog si Barney. Anyway, so, do you have any question about the subject? Or okay na tayo? Kahit unrelated questions, okay lang. Okay, so none na po, sir. Sila. Okay, so sige. So, salamat sa pag-attend ng class. Hopefully, may motivation na kayo sa Anachem. No? So, hopefully. Okay, so mahirap yung SEM na to, pero kakayanin nyo. Okay, so yan. Yung calculator nyo pala, check nyo na, no? Ngayon pa lang sasabihin ko na. Check nyo kung may shift solve function siya. Okay? And ideally, yung calculator nyo dapat may logarithm. Yan, may logarithm. Tapos kung may shift solve, better. Okay? Kasi magbibigay ako ng mga shortcuts. Okay? So, yan. So, anyway, ano pa? Stat. Tignan nyo kung may stat yung calculator nyo. Statistics. Okay. So, yun lang. Magagamit natin yung stats na yun next week. No? Okay, so yun lang, and I'll see you again on Thursday. We will continue our orientation part for Anachem. Actually, we are discussing na talaga, hindi na siya orientation. Okay, so yun lang, continuation tayo on Thursday. So, rest muna kayo. Yan, so thank you and ingat parate. So, I will upload a video of this, a copy of this class sa YouTube na lang. So tingin na lang kayo sa channel, okay? So thank